Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Average Korean from South Korea. Today, I'm going to talk about why the elderly poverty rate here in South Korea is so high. First of all, I have brought some pictures over here for you to see together. Some of these pictures are in Korean, but I will explain in English for you guys. So let's take a look at the pictures first. This is a graph of elderly poverty rate among OECD countries in 2020. In the year 2020, the elderly poverty rate of South Korea was 40%, and it is the highest among OECD countries. I'm not sure about other countries, but the elderly poverty rate in South Korea in 2024 was also 40%. So it hasn't changed since 2020. In South Korea, the elderly poverty rate is approximately 40%. This means 4 out of 10 elderly individuals earn less than half of the median income, which is 3 times the OECD average, particularly among those aged 76 and older. 1 in 2 faces poverty. And I'm going to read you the reasons for this, and at the end of the video I'm going to tell you my personal opinion. Number 1, rapid industrialization and economic structural changes. South Korea underwent a rapid transformation from an agriculture society to an industrialized economy. During this process, many elderly individuals who worked in agriculture or informal sectors were excluded from the social security system. Those from pre-industrialization generations often lack access to pensions or retirement benefits. Number 2, short history of the national pension system. The national pension system was introduced in 1988, leaving many older generations without the opportunity to participate fully. Those with short contribution periods or low income receive insufficient pension benefits. Number 3, exclusion from the labor market. While many elderly individuals seek to continue economic activity after retirement, job opportunities are limited and they often end up in irregular or low-wage positions. This makes it difficult for them to achieve financial independence. Number 4, insufficient social safety nets. Public support programs such as the basic pensions exist, but are often inadequate to cover living expenses. Elderly individuals living alone are particularly vulnerable to poverty and social isolations. I think these reasons I've just read right now apply to people who are in the age of 75 and above. And this is my personal opinion. But when it comes to the poverty rate in the age range between 60 and 75, I think it's a little different story. I'm gonna tell you my personal opinion. In my personal opinion, Korean parents spend way too much money for their children's education. I know that all parents want to do their best for their children. I understand that. But they spend too much money for their children's education, so they cannot save money for their own future. Students here in Korea go to school in the morning and they finish school at around 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And after that, they go to places called hagwon. So hagwon is basically a academic facility where you can study or where you can learn more mathematics, more English, more whatever subject. There is mathematics hagwon, English hagwon, taekwondo hagwon, piano hagwon. all sorts of things. So students here in Korea would finish school at around 3 or 4, and after that they go to these hagwon. And not just one, they go to many, and when they come back home, it's around 9 or 10 at night. And also I used to do the same. I used to go to one hagwon, but I spent 4 hours in that hagwon. So when I came back home, it was 10. I finished hagwon at 10 at night. When I came back home, it was 10:30 at night. And that is very common here in Korea. All students do that. These hagwons are not for free, of course. So the parents pay to these hagwon for their children, and they spend too much money for their children's education, and therefore they don't have the money to save for their future. And once again, I understand that the parents want to do their best for their children, but they also have to think about their future. And on top of that, people who are in the age of 60 and above, and when they were young and when they were in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, supporting one's parents was considered as a natural obligation back then. So people in the age of 60 and above spent a lot of money for their children's education, and they expected their children to support them when they got old. But the culture has changed, and younger generations these days don't really support their parents. And it's not because they don't want to, it's because they can't. The price of things have gone so high, and the younger generation these days are just busy living their lives, so they don't have enough money to support their parents. And back in the days, it was common to live with your parents even after getting married. So people used to live with the parents with your wife or your husband. And that was common back in the days. But now things have changed and people do not do that. So I would like to say this is also one big reason why the elderly poverty rate here in Korea is so high. People in their 60s and above spend too much money for their children's education, and they expected their children to support them when they got older. But the things have changed, situations have changed, and the younger generation these days can't support their parents and don't live with their parents in one house. And the reason why this reason doesn't apply to people who are older than 75 or maybe 80 is because back then there was no such thing as hagwon. So it's a different story for them. Anyways, I'm going to end the video here today, everyone. Thank you for watching my video once again. See you next time. Bye-bye.